A modern checkout counter. Fast cuts. A laser flashes. A product is scanned. The familiar beep echoes. Another product. Another beep. And another. This sound is the rhythm of modern commerce. A simple beep. A flash of red light. It happens billions of times a day. In every country on Earth. Beneath this simple act lies a hidden world. A world of engineering genius. Of secret business battles. And a single, brilliant idea drawn in the sand. This is the blueprint of the barcode. The invisible system that organizes our entire world. It began not in a lab, but with a problem. The year is 1948. Post-war America is booming. Supermarkets are the new frontier of retail. Aisles overflow with unprecedented choice. But this new paradise has a bottleneck. The checkout counter. Clerks manually read every price tag. They punch each number into a cash register. Mistakes are constant. Lines are agonizingly long. One day, a grocery chain president visits Drexel Institute of Technology. He corners a dean in his office. He pleads for a solution. He needs a way to automatically capture product information at the checkout. The dean dismisses the idea as too complex. But a graduate student, Bernard Silver, overhears the conversation. The problem intrigues him. It burrows into his mind. He tells his friend, a brilliant inventor named Norman Joseph Woodland. Woodland becomes obsessed. The problem follows him everywhere. He moves to Florida. He quits his teaching job. He dedicates his life to finding a solution. Winter 1949. A Miami beach. Woodland sits in a deck chair, staring at the sand. He thinks about the problem. How can you encode information into a pattern? He remembers a technology he learned as a Boy Scout. Morse code. Dots and dashes. He begins drawing lines in the sand. Long lines and short lines. He stretches the dots and dashes downwards, creating a pattern of thick and thin bars. But a linear code would have to be perfectly aligned. That wouldn't work at a busy checkout. Then, he has a stroke of genius. He takes his linear code. He wraps it around itself. It forms a series of concentric circles. A bullseye. This pattern could be read from any angle. It was the first blueprint for a universal product code. In 1952, Woodland and Silver receive a patent for their invention. They build a prototype scanner to read the code. It's a crude device. The size of a desk. It uses a massive 500-watt incandescent bulb for light. The light reflects off the code. A photomultiplier tube, technology from movie projectors, reads the pattern. It works. Barely. The bulb is dangerously hot. The equipment is far too expensive. And most critically, the computers needed to process the information don't exist yet. At least not in a way a grocery store could afford. The world isn't ready. The patent is sold to the electronics company Philco for a small sum. It's eventually acquired by RCA. For nearly 2 decades, the brilliant idea sits on a shelf. The dream of an automated checkout gathers dust. The 1960s roar to a close. The supermarket problem is now a crisis. Labor costs are soaring. Clerks still punch in every price by hand. Checkout errors cost stores more than they make in profit. The industry is desperate. The forgotten bullseye patent is rediscovered by RCA. Now, technology has begun to catch up. Integrated circuits make electronics smaller. Lasers, once a laboratory curiosity, are becoming commercially viable. RCA invests millions. They develop a new version of Woodland's bullseye code. They build a working scanner using a helium neon laser. By 1970, they are running live tests in a Kroger store in Cincinnati. It seems like the future has arrived. RCA is poised to dominate. But other companies see the opportunity. Litton Industries. Singer. Pitney Bowes. Each begins developing its own proprietary code. Its own scanner. Its own system. Chaos looms. Retailers face a nightmare scenario. A can of Campbell's soup would need a different code for each store. A box of Tide would need multiple labels. The entire system would fragment before it even began. The dream of a universal code was on the verge of collapsing into a corporate turf war. In 1970, a historic meeting takes place. The top executives of America's biggest grocery companies form a group. They call it the U.S. Supermarket Ad Hoc Committee on a Uniform Grocery Product Code. Their mission: force the industry to agree on a single, universal standard. It was a declaration of war against corporate self-interest. The committee set strict criteria. The code must be small. It had to be cheap to print. It needed to be readable with a single scan, over 99% of the time. And most importantly, it had to be an open standard. Not owned by anyone. RCA, with its head start, pushes its bullseye code hard. They are the frontrunner. But a new player enters the race. A giant. International Business Machines. IBM. At first, IBM isn't interested. They sell massive, million-dollar mainframe computers. The low-margin world of grocery scanners seems beneath them. But one executive sees the bigger picture. He realizes that thousands of scanners in thousands of stores would need to connect to something. They would need to connect to IBM mainframes. The scanners weren't the product. The data was. IBM assigns the project to an engineer named George Laurer. His task is to evaluate RCA's bullseye and design a proposal. Laurer immediately sees a fatal flaw in the bullseye. Printing presses of the 1970s are not precise. Ink smears. When the circular code smeared, the entire pattern became unreadable. It was too fragile for the real world. Laurer makes a bold decision. He tells his superiors that IBM must create something new. He goes back to the drawing board. He revisits Woodland's original idea. The linear code. Laurer's genius was not in inventing, but in perfecting. He works with Woodland, who is now at IBM. Together, they craft the blueprint for the modern barcode. The Universal Product Code, or UPC. It's a masterpiece of practical engineering. It consists of 30 vertical black lines of varying thickness. And 29 white spaces between them. It encodes 12 digits. The first digit identifies the product type. The next 5 are the manufacturer's code. The next 5 are the specific product code. And the final, crucial digit is the check digit. This is the code's hidden error correction. A mathematical formula runs on the first 11 digits. The result must match the 12th digit. If it doesn't, the scan fails. This simple check makes the system incredibly accurate. Laurer also adds guard bars at the beginning, middle, and end. These bars tell the scanner where the code starts and stops. They allow it to be read forwards or backwards. It was smaller than the bullseye. It was more resilient to printing errors. And because IBM offered it as an open, public domain symbol, it was cheaper for everyone. In 1973, the committee gathers to vote. RCA presents its polished, field-tested bullseye code. Then, IBM presents its elegant, robust, and open linear UPC. The vote is cast. In a stunning upset, the committee chooses IBM's design. It was a victory for collaboration. A triumph of superior engineering over a market-leading position. The blueprint for a global standard was finally set. The stage was set, but the revolution had not yet begun. It needed a first shot. A first scan. June 26, 1974. A Marsh supermarket in Troy, Ohio. The store is one of the first in the world equipped with a scanner. At 8:01 a.m., a shopper named Clyde Dawson places a 10-pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Gum on the conveyor belt. The cashier, Sharon Buchanan, slides the package over the scanner window. A red laser beam flashes. A beep echoes through the quiet store. On the register screen, the price appears instantly, 67 cents. It was the scan heard round the world. The system worked. But adoption was painfully slow. The scanners cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per store. Manufacturers resisted the cost of changing their packaging. For years, the barcode seemed like a failed experiment. But then, the giants of retail made their move. Kmart. Walmart. They saw the potential. They mandated that all their suppliers must use the UPC. Suddenly, the equation shifted. If you wanted to sell your product in America's largest stores, you needed a barcode. The tipping point was reached. The beep became a roar. The single line of code became a global language. It spread from grocery stores to libraries. From warehouses to hospitals. From shipping containers to overnight letters. That simple pattern of lines, first imagined in the sand, became the backbone of our modern supply chain. It tracks every product from the factory floor to your front door. It manages inventory with perfect precision. It eliminated errors and unlocked trillions of dollars in efficiency. Norman Joseph Woodland and Bernard Silver didn't just invent a way to speed up a checkout line. They created an information standard. A universal language for objects. They designed a system that connects the physical world to the digital world. A silent, invisible network that runs our lives. It is a masterpiece of hidden engineering. A blueprint for order in a world of chaos. And it all started with a simple problem, and a flash of genius on a quiet beach.